Mm, that is so good.
That's a big bite for a big arch.
Hello, everyone. It's Regis again from the Practice Research Agency. And today I just wanted to pass some comment about something I saw recently, and it kind of went viral, and it was all about the global CEO of McDonald's advertising the Big Arch Burger by personally appearing and taking a bite of this burger and so forth. The name of the CEO is Chris Kempczinski. I think I've pronounced that correctly. Apologies if I have not. It's safe to say, and I'm not insulting the man in any way, that Chris looks like a middle-aged and a bit older male. That's not a surprise, but he's really put himself on the line here. He's exposed himself to the public, right? On in the most public way possible, eating one of his own products, which is a kind of, weird thing to do, to be critiquing your own product, right? But he's advertising it. So he's stepped out, and I think he's done this before as well. He's actually done this before numerous times, but I believe this time it went viral because everyone was accusing him of not liking this big arch burger because he took only a little bite and he wasn't seen to be chewing and swallowing whilst on camera, all that sort of stuff. So, and it's just been piled on the guy like nothing else, right? Just insult after insult after insult. And really all he's doing is he's just advertising the Big Arch Burger, right? And he's bravely come out from behind the desk and behind the boardroom and behind the operation. The CEOs are faceless people, let's face it, usually. And he's stepped out, and he hasn't tried to change himself. I don't think looks. This is not an insult, but looks a bit nerdy, right? That's not an insult in my books. That's praise in my books. Like he doesn't. He's not going to sit around caring what people think about what he looks like. He's not superficial. He's doing something of substance. He's selling the company product, and he's putting himself on the line by exposing himself by doing that. Because when you put yourself out there like this, people are going to say all kinds of things about you, very hurtful things. But I found it rather fascinating because, despite, maybe because of the what I would call, you might call it negative attention, but I don't think it is negative attention. I think it's actually quite positive attention because, let's face it, when's the last time that any of us remember any McDonald's advertising? Really? And then again, I'm not insulting the McDonald's Corporation or their advertising function or anything like that. Far from it. Far from it. They're very successful. But the thing is that in the modern world, when's the last time we remembered any ad about McDonald's? Maybe we remembered an ad about a new product that came out, but when's the last time that anything became this viral about McDonald's, right? And it went viral because, the internet loves ridicule, right? It loves to humiliate. It loves the humiliation. It loves the ridicule. All the reality shows are about ridicule and humiliation in one way or another. People being judged, people being fired, people, all kinds of things, right? All kinds of things. And so he's basically stepped into that culture and kind of, in a sense, humiliated himself over this burger, over advertising this burger, and it went viral. And I was going to say, despite this or because of it, other CEOs have jumped in for the burgers, and they've also started eating their burgers, saying how fantastic their burger, the Burger King and I think the Wendy's, and one of those looked actually rather pitiful, I have to say, compared to the Macca's burger. Anyway, so they all jumped on the bandwagon, but they weren't ridiculed, right? Because I don't know, they took a big bite, or maybe they just didn't look as nerdy, or I don't know why. Maybe they just, I think they must have all panicked because they thought, oh my God, this burger's getting so much attention. McDonald's is getting so much advertising attention here for free, I might add, for free. Film this guy eating a burger on an iPhone, put it out there, and boom, it goes viral. You might say for the wrong reasons, but I don't think it's for the wrong reasons at all. It's advertising the Big Arch Burger. And I don't think people are getting the impression at all that he's hating it or anything like that. People are just jumping on it because that's That's what we like to do. Plus, he's in a position of power. A white male in a position of power. Let's face it. We really want to give him a bit of a shot. A bit of a shot. Everyone wants to have a bit of a go, right? Because he's deemed to be powerful, and okay, so therefore not vulnerable. So therefore a safe target to attack. That sort of thing. So, but look, this for me raises a bigger issue about advertising and about corporate leadership. And I sometimes work in the world of, politics, polling, and in that world, it's no surprise, of course, that the leader of the party, the leader of the potential aspirant leader of the country or the state or whatever the case may be, comes out and leads the marketing. They're making the speeches. They're laying out the vision. The perception of them is what it's all about. Do we like the prime minister? Do we like the opposition person? Do we like this person? Do we respect that person? Are they strong? Are they this? Are they whatever? Right. So it's safe to say that in the world of politics, the leader is carrying the burden of the public relations and the marketing. And it seems to be that we can't get away from that in that field. They can't seem to hand that on and delegate it to various ministers because no one really cares, about the ministers as much, right? Not in this capacity anyway. So politicians bear the burden of the public relations and marketing. In fact, they are blamed directly for not being likable enough or yeah, right. Seriously, and they get knifed for being unlikable, right? As well. Sorry, metaphorically, politically knifed, of course. Yeah. So now, why don't CEOs do the same? Why are corporates that different? This is the question. Of course, we know they're different. I say that they're different, but then why is it different? Now, of course, there are exceptions. Of course, there is Richard Branson. He probably wasn't even CEO, but he might as well have been. Richard Branson, of course, the face of Virgin for many, many years, to the point where they could barely make a Virgin ad that would cut through without him, apparently. I don't know if they've transcended that or not. Apple, famously Apple, Steve Jobs, right? So, I mean, wow. I mean, he was the marketing department of Apple. Seriously. From what we can tell, he was the marketing department of Apple. Yes, he had marketing people. Yes, he had advertising people, of course. But Steve Jobs in a sense, resembled a political leader for the people at Apple and just led the charge, led the vision, led the policy, led the interviews, led the persona. Some people hated him. Some people thought he was an asshole, right? Some people loved him. Some people worshipped him. All right. So, but he kind of put it out there and he put himself on the line and he was the face of it and he bore the brunt of its failures and successes, just like the leader of a political party. Who is the CEO of Unilever? Who is the CEO of Nestle? There's a lot of products in there, but I don't know. I've never seen any of them talk about any of them. Of course, there's Dyson. We know that's famously was started by an engineer, James Dyson, or Sir James Dyson today. Knighted for his services to vacuuming, and I've never seen James doing the vacuuming with one of his own vacuum cleaners. Maybe I haven't been watching, but I've never seen James doing the I'd love to see James doing the vacuuming with one of his vacuum cleaners, and I want to see it clog up and not work, and kind of he has to get the thing and fish out all the lint and the dirt out of the Dyson, which is getting clogged, and I'd like to see that actually. In fact, I think that would be fantastic marketing for Dyson. I'm sick and tired of the engineering schemes and all this stuff coming in and out. Couldn't care less. A lot of people are doing that now. I want to see James vacuuming, basically, right? I want to see James doing a Chris, right? We got Chris, in my opinion, has had the guts to put himself out there, nerdy man and all, right? Good on you, Chris. And, eat his own burger and get lampooned and get humiliated and take the brunt of the marketing for his company, right? Now, I respect that. I respect the person who has the leadership and the humility to come out basically and do that. Now, do I think everyone should be doing that? No, I don't know. But, the advertising world has changed a lot We're not responding to the same types of marketing anymore, are we? We're not responding to the big ad, all that sort of stuff anymore. We don't care. We skip through it. We just don't care. We are not affected by it. It is old hat. Do we want this personal connection? Do we want the person who's making the big bucks at the company to come out and basically sell the company as well, instead of handing it off to marketing people, to advertising people? They will be part of the mix. But should the CEO, should the leader of the corporations or the leaders, whenever possible, step out into the limelight in order to bear the marketing brunt and responsibility for their company and their products? And I know they say that they do, but it's more at the financial level. It's at the, I'm selling the investments to the company, right? So I'm selling it to, what we wankily call the street, Wall Street, or whatever street ours is on, So it's kind of, they're selling the company to investors. The CEO is selling the company to investors, but not to the consumers, right? So should this now be something that they need to do? Should this be something that is part of the CEO's agenda, is that they must also lead or be part of the marketing push for corporates and products and brands now, today, right? Today, because the advertising landscape has changed, and it is possible that your average consumer now wants a sense of connection and authenticity to the product. And I say this about, Chris Kempczinski, right? It was authentic. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't like burgers that much. Okay, maybe he likes the odd burger, like a lot of people, right? Okay, maybe he does. Do you really have to eat a lot of Maccas and love it to be the CEO? I don't think so. Of course, you can't hate the product. You have to respect the product. You have to respect the company. You have to respect the, all the people who are working in there. You have to do all of that. But, you have to eat it all the time. Do people working in confectionery at Nestle eat Kit Kats constantly? No, of course not. Okay, no, of course not. So, okay, but nevertheless, he's out there. He's got the product. He's saying it's a good burger. I'm eating it. I do eat burgers occasionally. These burgers occasionally myself. I genuinely think it's actually a good product. And there is, while people think that's insincere, I don't know if it's insincere or not. There is a certain level of authentic connection there, which is why I think it resonates. Which is why I think, because you're able to actually, the fact that he became the subject and the target of a sort of a humiliation sort of campaign. It was for fun. It wasn't that serious, right? But the fact that he became a target for that humiliation campaign is what gives him a certain degree of authenticity, if you like, not being afraid to step out there and, and to be judged. Anyway, here's the thing though. It was memorable. It was absolutely memorable. And I think this is becoming very difficult in advertising and marketing, to be memorable. And you can cut through with something like this to be memorable. And what are we memorizing? We're memorizing that the CEO of McDonald's, who's this kind of nerdy looking sort of guy, who's the last guy you'd expect to enjoy a burger, he's taking a sort of a quasi bite out of this Big Macca's burger. Boom, there you go. Got the brand, got the product, got the consumption, got the memory, got the cut through. Let's face it, got so much cut through that all the other CEOs thought they could jump on board and start munching on their burgers and get the same cut through. But it doesn't work that way, does it? Doesn't work that way. So, look, that's all I'm going to say. This is a bit of a joke, really, to be honest, but it's also serious at the same time. Should leadership, corporate leadership, step out and be part of the marketing, or shoulder part of the marketing responsibility for the company and its products and brands where possible? That's all I'm going to say. Thank you very much. I'll speak again soon. Goodbye.
I'm going to enjoy the rest of my lunch, but Big Arch, try it when you can get it.